Welcome to Neon Cobra. Let's kick into it. Okay, so I'm actually going to kind of revisit one of the ones. This is tangential to Azure hybrid benefits, but we're going to talk about licensing in Azure. If you're one of my partners and you're probably thinking, oh, he's making this video about me, it's mostly not because of that, but I do have this conversation very frequently. So a lot of times when an organization shifts and lifts from on-premise, they take their on-prem infrastructure and they Azure migrate it up. A lot of times the licensing fields there are either blank or set for I have my own licensing. But a common trap or misconception is that your previously purchased on-premise licensing provides you the rights to use that same licensing in Azure. Now, the only time that is relevant is if there's an active software assurance enabled on the actual software licensing itself. So for managed service providers, that's probably not likely, right? Generally, we're not optimizing or rebuying software assurance for like a 20 or a 30 user organization. We would buy our perpetual or maybe our 2019 volume licensing and we ran that into the ground. Completely fine. The thing is, when that goes into Azure, you are no longer applicable to use that licensing. Now, it doesn't invalidate. And that's kind of the kicker, is when you get up there, everything seems fine. And this goes as far as everything from like RDS CALs, remote desktop user CALs. So that licensing server will continue to function, but technically in the eyes of Microsoft is not compliant. You need to either have active software assurance or subscription-based licensing, which is very common in CSP. So case in point, so we're talking Canadian dollars, an 8-core server in Azure will run about $479 by licensing hourly or monthly with Microsoft. You can buy a 3-year 8-core license one time for $906 Canadian at this current time. So there's an immense amount of savings. Now the RDS CALs are also the same for 3 years, about $237. So when we're looking about migrating up, you need to ensure your licensing remains compliant and some additional purchasing is likely required. A little bit more information in my blog. Catch you next week.